Saffron Hocking, welcome to An Actor Despairs. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
It's so good to have you here. I was just talking to you off air. We share a friend, Jemima, who does incredible work in
The wonderful
photography.
Jemima. We love
Yeah, yeah. So that's amazing. She speaks so highly of you, and
her.
I don't. I was just telling Tilly that I had never heard of Top Boy. I have a VPN so I can like watch British stuff on BBC One and
It's no, do you know it's on Netflix worldwide? You can watch
I
it.
I know I watched it. I'm just
I
saying, like before this, I had
I
never heard of it. So
see.
I and it's so on brand for me. So I was like, I feel like a fucking idiot
Oh
for
my God. Well, now you know. Have you watched it now? Do you like it?
yeah, it's incredible. Are you kidding me? I'm like riveted to the floor. I got to do so. I guess for viewers listening to
Uh-huh.
kind of explain it, and you can help me
Yes.
here. So it
Yes.
was a show that was on Channel 4 that got canceled, right?
Yeah, it was. So it got
And
cancelled, and then that was back in 2013, I believe. And then Drake, the rapper, was a massive fan of the show. So he kind of campaigned to bring it back. And he did on Netflix. He's one of the exec producers. And yeah, that's why we're back,
but
really.
this is where I got mixed up. The
Mm.
when it got brought back in the US, it's labeled as season 1, right?
Yeah,
And
but that's the same here as well.
it is okay. And then Top Boy Summer House is what were the original two, right?
Exactly there,
Got
but
it.
it is a sort of continuation from there, but years and years later. But I think the reason why they've called it season 1 and 2 of the Top Boy is because it's been brought to Netflix. That's the
Right.
only, but there is a through line. It's not as if there's completely entirely new different characters. I mean, there are, but you still have the originals, which is Deshane and Sully.
And are you in Summer House or just Top Boy?
No, just Top Boy.
Oh, okay, cool. But you're so good in that role. I mean, I guess we can. I don't know. I'll try not to ruin it for anyone because it's such an amazing piece. But that ending for your character, it was yeah, it was very Shakespearean. It
It
really
was, wasn't it? It's exactly
what
how I would describe it.
it was such bait and switch because you're like you think this one thing's gonna happen and you're like no, what an idiot, and then you're like
Yeah,
thank
and then
God. Yeah. So I hope
uh,
that's vague enough for nobody to
it is big.
guess.
And
But
do you know what cracks me up about it is that like I sometimes I read the tweets because you that's how you do. You read the
yeah,
tweets about your character. And like it's so funny seeing people tweet like Lauren, you fucking idiot. And it's
yeah,
like
that's what I was
and,
thinking.
and then it's like, oh, actually, no, we love Lauren now. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So you see the switch up, and I'm like, okay, cool. I brought them back on board.
Yeah, totally. But we're gonna get to Top Boy, but before we do, let's start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in London, in
Awesome.
Southeast London, Greenwich.
How was that experience?
Oh, I loved it. I love it. It's so green and suburban and lovely. Yeah, just grew up with me, my mum, my dad.
And is that like for I live in New York City,
Yeah.
so is that considered a suburb of London or is that part of London proper?
No, it's part of London proper, but it's not like city-ish. Because you have like central London, like I don't know, Oxford Street, where there's
Yeah.
busy cars, buildings, high rises, pollution. Whereas where I've grown up, it's like a massive big heath and like parks, and it's just gorgeous.
That's amazing. So that sounds like it was an incredible experience.
Yes, it was indeed.
What are your parents artists or tell me what do they do?
No, they're not. My parents just have very normal jobs, to be honest. They're both mad though, in the best way. Like they're very like my mum is Nigerian, so her personality is just huge. And my dad is
Yeah.
like he's just an insane person with the most wicked laugh and crazy personality. Like we do think that he's has a screw loose, which
Yeah.
I guess has made me the way I am. So I guess I had to go into acting.
Totally. And talk to me, like growing up in such an amazing city like London and having access to the West End and all the other amazing things like Donmar Warehouse and
Yeah.
like were you growing up very exposed to the arts or how did your whole discovering of TV, film, theater, all the above start to happen?
Well, I was really lucky in terms of the way my parents put me into like a fantastic education, which meant that I had so many opportunities to kind of explore music or theatre or creative writing or things like that. And I kind of latched onto theatre really. So I went to a theatre school alongside my actual academic school, and I did a lot of drama at school. And you know, they would take me to plays and my dad would read me plays and things like that. So I guess it went from there. I kind of was just like, well, this is exactly what I want to do.
That's amazing. So they were very into the arts themselves as well.
Yeah, they were like, especially my dad is such a academic, but a creative academic, I'd say. So he's always sort of, both my parents have always said to me, you know, be what you want to be and we'll always support you. And I was like, okay, fine, I want to be an actor then.
Yeah. And you're doing it. I love that.
And they were like, anything but that. Want to retire.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. So that school you went to then, was it, you went to one school during the day and then another, or was it performing art department within the same school?
So there was a performing arts department within the school, but then, you know, I'd go to like a Saturday school when I was much younger, where I'd do like drama and acting there. Like, so yeah.
And how young are we talking here when you were doing that?
I think I first started going to, I'm going to say I was like 8 years old.
So young. Wow. You got really, wow. And how was that? You know, because like, I don't know about you, but when I was 8, I was just a shy little kid, you know? I mean, how was that going?
Yeah. I think because I'm an only child, my parents were kind of like, oh my God, we've got to get her out this house and just get her talking to people because she's just going a bit weird. Like I would like talk in different accents to my parents. Like I was obsessed with the Scottish accent as a child. So there was, for a while, I would only talk in the Scottish accent. And they were like, oh dear. Right, let's channel this to another place.
You're a true actor.
I'm telling you, like I grew up as like, you know, Robin Williams and Jim Carrey. They were like my heroes. So I was a very strange child, very strange, but I channeled it into acting, and there we are.
And then how was that for you when you started going? Was it overwhelming, or was it right away you were like, I met my tribe?
I think it was one of those things where like in my own little bubble of being at home thinking I was so theatrical, like I thought, oh my God, I'm so comfortable and like, you know, I can do whatever I want. But then when you meet other like-minded children that are equally as sort of like brash and out there, you're kind of like, I'm not the only one. So I think it was a very humbling experience.
Okay, I know what you mean. I went in at 11. It was the same thing for me. And I'm curious then, as you were doing that, you know, because, you know, in England, the business is there. Were you like at all having agents come to these things or not yet?
No, not yet at all. This was all, when I was younger, it was all very much a hobby. And it was not something I took seriously at all. It's only until I was, I think, 18 years old and I was applying to go to university to study English literature with theatre studies. And
real university, not like a RADA
real life university. Real life. No, I was like, even the thought of being an actor then at the age of 18, that had escaped me. I think I was kind of like, it's a bit far-fetched, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can't really be asked with all that, the rejection. I just want an easy life. But it was only when I was applying for universities, I just suddenly had this brainwave and this moment of like, I don't want to go to university. I don't want the university lifestyle. Like I'd gone, like I had some older friends, I'd gone up to visit them at university, and it was like, and this isn't to like disparage the university because it's a great thing, but it was all sort of like freshers, like drinking, you know, only going to lectures like twice a week. And I was like, it just seemed like a massive party. And like,
that's what it can be. Yeah,
exactly. Whilst that's great, I'd kind of partied enough. So I was like, so I had this amazing drama school teacher called James Barton, who is just, I have him to thank for so much. Even to this day, we still keep in touch. Actually messaged me the other day saying he's so proud of me. He's lovely man. He was like to me, okay, well, look, you don't want to go to university, so why don't you go to drama school? And I was like, what's that? He's like, basically, you go there for 3 years, you get a university degree out of it at the end of the 3 years, but more likely you'll get an agent and you get to be an actor, and you train 5 days a week from 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. at night. Would you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Why the hell not? So I applied to a drama school, and then a day later they told me I got in. So I was like, James, I'll go there.
Which one was that?
The Academy of Live and Recorded Arts.
Amazing. And is that in London or?
It's in London, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I that's another thing. I wanted to be in London. Like you
didn't want to go to like Bristol, Old Vic, or
No,
yeah.
I'm very much. I'm a mummy and daddy's girl. I'm a homebody. I'm just I'm an only child.
You have a big like love affair with London. You love it.
Love London.
That's great, because a lot of people, university is their first chance to get the fuck away from home, and that's why I think so many people go have a party in Arizona who grew up in Virginia, but growing up in London, that's where you want to be. So that's awesome.
For sure. So then, I love it.
And when you got there, what was the audition? Was it like a classical and a contemporary monologue, or?
Yes, it was. From what I can remember all those years ago. It makes me feel old, don't it? It freaks me out. So I think it was Shakespeare and then a contemporary. Exactly. So I did Shakespeare, contemporary, and then you had to do like movement workshops, which was just my worst nightmare.
Mine too. I hate those.
Honestly, I like the thought of like when I watch people do musical theater, when they're moving and dancing and singing, I have such respect for them because I would crumble.
Same.
I'm
so uncoordinated. It's
no coordination, no coordination. And people are like, "Oh, but your mum's African. You don't have any rhythm." I'm like, "No, I got my dad's side."
That's racist.
I know exactly. I can't say it, but it's
that's awesome. So when you finished all those and you got the yes, was that exciting for you?
Oh my God, it was amazing. And like it was so exciting, and it was like my parents were so excited for me as well. They were like, oh my God, because I was a bit nervous to tell them, because I think if you tell your parents you're going to go off and be an actor.
They didn't know you were applying.
No, they did know, but I guess they didn't. When I was 18, I was a bit sort of like, no, I wanted to be a writer. Then I wanted to go into like music management. Then I wanted to be so they were kind of like, whatever you want, babe.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Do you think? But then when I got into drama school, I was like, no, guys, I'm serious. I really want to go here. They were like, of course, we'll support you. And like, financially, it is not cheap at all. And you can do all that, and your parents or you or whoever can pump all this money in for the 3 years, and it might not work. So it's a risk, right?
For most, it doesn't. I mean, it's more. It's like a 99% fail rate.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And we were like, I was aware of that statistic. Like, but I guess I never really let it scare me as much. I guess I kind of let it kind of drive me even more to be like, I'm going to be in that 1%. I'm going to make sure of it. And I worked so hard. I think that at school, with academic subjects, I guess because for a lot of them, I didn't have a passion for what I was doing. I'm very passion driven. So I wasn't really invested in it. But for this, it was something I really wanted to do. And I was so passionate about. So therefore, failing was not an option.
And you weren't interested in the party life, so you didn't fall into that trap either, right?
I mean, I still partied, of course.
Yeah, who didn't? But
no, calm down.
Yeah. I love that. But like when you're doing scene study and things like that, you learned your lines.
I took it
and
seriously because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really, really, really did enjoy it. And like, I guess it's one of those things where you're around like-minded people because everyone there wants to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not like you'd have to be a fool to invest all that money and time into drama school if you didn't really want to do it. So we all like supported one another and were like-minded. So yeah.
That's amazing. And did you find your tribe there? Were people really cool? And, because like as you get older, the reality of like, that we're competing against each other kind of starts to kick in, and egos and people, in their 20s start to brood and get kind of competitive. Was there?
Yeah. I think for me, like it was a weird one because at my drama school at the time, I think luckily things have changed a lot now, but I was the only person of color in my year. The only female of color, the only person of color, like in my entire year. Everyone else was white. So that was a really strange environment for me. So I wouldn't say I was in competition with anyone because I was so different to everyone. Totally. I think it was strange because I felt like I did feel like I stuck out, but not necessarily for the wrong reasons, but there was a clear difference. Looking around me. I didn't feel like, oh, I can relate to you. I could relate to them in terms of like the simplest terms of you're an actor, I'm an actor, we want to be actors.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what I stood for and the parts that I was going up for and what I wanted out of my career, it was a different reality for me. So yeah, I mean, look, I didn't not get on with anyone at all. Like I still keep in touch with, a lot of people in my year now, and we're still super close and we talk, but my journey was very different to theirs. Yeah.
Did they make cuts at that school or no?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Like,
so was that scary for you, realizing that?
Yeah, but like it would be cuts for reasons such as lateness was like a big no, if you turn like
big problem for me.
Trust me, it was a problem. Like, but you know what? But now I have to think that's one of the main things I have to thank from drama school is it has actually trained me now to not be a late person. Because
totally.
Lateness now, I have the fear of God in me. I have the fear. So if I have to be somewhere, I'm like, okay, right, I'll arrive 20 minutes early, half an hour early. I am never the one that's late when I meet up with people. Never.
There's a great comedian who has a line of like, why do you need cocaine when you could just be late?
It's true, but it's not worth anxiety. It's not worth it. No way.
So then while you're there, it's 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So you're there and you have summers off. What are you doing in the summers? Are you just going, and also are you commuting from home, or are you living in London now?
Yeah, I was living in London. Yeah, I was still living in London. So in the summers, like I still have obviously I grew up in London, so I've got my friends from London that I've had since I was young. So I still had them and I never lost contact with them. And I, even to this day, like they're my sisters. I love them to pieces. My sisters and brothers, so I would just hang out with them, really, just being in our 20s, like.
Yeah.
But, I guess back then, the pressure to succeed was a lot less because I hadn't necessarily had a taste of it. I mean, I was training to be an actor, but I was still very naive to the harsh realities of the industry. And it was all very like, ooh, exciting. Like, oh, I can't wait to get my first acting credit. I can't wait to like have a line on television, as in like a speaking line. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. So that all came, the anxieties of acting, I think, came later. But, when I was younger in my 20s, summers were just, I didn't panic about anything. I just enjoyed myself.
That's amazing, as you should. And as the program started progressing towards the showcase moment, do you feel like they adequately prepared you not only just for the showcase, but for the realities of trying to make it as an actor out of, an education environment?
Um,
Because not everyone gets signed, right?
no, of course. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. I feel like yes and no. Yes and no. I think that how can one ever be prepared for that amount of rejection?
It's insane what we do.
Because I honestly think it's a better thing not to know, because if you actually knew the hell that and the heartache that goes through it, you just wouldn't do it.
It's insane.
That
It's like falling in love and then getting rejected 20 times a day.
And again. Like, so yeah, we knew, but we weren't prepared but why in a way I'm kind of glad I went into it blindly, because like I just said, I don't want to know. I wouldn't want to know.
And that pressure would cripple anyone,
Of course it would. Yeah.
And were you really happy with the work that you did? That I don't know if it was a series of nights or a singular night, the time the showcase came up.
So I actually left drama school slightly early.
You did?
Yeah, I left sort of midway through my third year, I think it was, or just almost mid towards the end. But I did leave early because I got an agent at the beginning of my third year, and she was wonderful. She would put me up for auditions straight away, so I kind of started auditioning during the third year, back to back, so I kind of was preparing myself. And
did she discover you at school? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
She did, yeah. Okay. Sorry. So I had my first ever showcase, which was just we did a play. It was Arabian Nights.
Oh, so, nice. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I played Queen Scheherazade. And then, so I got an email from her saying, "Hi, would you like to come in for a meeting? We'd love to sign you." And I was like, brilliant, great, sure. I met with her, vibed with her. She was super cool. So I started auditioning, and then I got a job. I got a job at the Globe, which is theatre. Yeah.
And were you comfortable with Shakespeare and iambic pentameter?
It wasn't Shakespeare. It wasn't a Shakespeare play. It was new writing, but set in the 18th century, written by this man called Richard Bean, and it was about the mutiny on the Bounty.
I know that piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've done a scene from that. Yeah.
So this was called Pitcairn. So I played a part of a Tahitian woman that kind of falls in love with one of the soldiers. But then it all goes wrong.
But you were doing it in the proper Shakespearean London Globe.
Yeah, man.
Wow. How did that feel?
Oh my God, it was it was absolutely surreal, because I think it was like on our first or our second night, I was on stage and I was like doing my thing, but there was a bit where there were other Tahitian women. We just sort of had to sit on stage for a bit, and whilst the men were doing their monologues, but we were like meant to just look around. So I was just sort of looking around the audience, and propped up on the stage, because it's standing at the Globe, a lot of it, is Sir Ian McKellen. And I was just, I know. And I just tried so hard not to react. Yeah. But I just moved my hand like that to get my friend's attention. And then, because we were allowed to sort of fake talk, whisper talk.
Yeah.
And then I was like to her, "Don't freak out." She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Ian McKellen's in the front row." And she's like, "Are you fucking serious?"
I need a Xanax.
Yeah, literally. And then she kind of looked down and she saw him. She was like, "Oh my God."
That's awesome.
I know.
And so, I know, my agent and other agents, sometimes, when you have a performance, it's a good chance for them to invite casting directors of certain properties, So did you have did some things come from that show? Did people discover you? Did you get some press,
I don't necessarily of course I'm sure that casting directors came and stuff, but it wasn't like, again, it's like that being my first ever job and it being of that scale, I kind of was like, I'm laughing now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the Globe, yeah, Hollywood next. So it's that kind of thing. So I guess, again, that was a naivety of mine where I kind of felt like, oh, now I've landed my first job. It's smooth sailing from here, which obviously isn't how it is. And that was the first and last time I've ever done theater. I kind of thought,
I'm so sorry. I just want to say, for the Americans, I don't think listening, they fully understand how big a Globe thing is for a British actor, because here we look at like film stars and Broadway is like cool if you're an acting nerd, but there, you guys really, really, truly respect the theater and the tradition.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, it's like the pinnacle. Like, that's why, really big actors will do like huge films and then return to the stage.
Totally. like the guy from Bridgerton.
I can act. I really can act.
Yeah. Totally. So you did that. Mm-hmm. And how long did this go for?
We were doing it for about 4 months.
Okay, so it ends, and then you go back to the audition marketplace, right?
Go back to the audition marketplace, and then not too long after, I did land my first my first 4 lines on TV.
No, I did some recently, so I know how it goes.
It's always nice, isn't it? Go on there. But my favorite thing, me and my friend were talking about this the other day, because our favorite thing is, when you see, obviously, like me as a young actor, I was like, so. What
was the show for people listening? It was
called Partners in Crime.
Okay, it's
like it was the Agatha Christie's.
Got it. Got it. With Rufus Sewell or no?
No, it was it was David Walliams.
Oh, okay, got it.
And also an actress called Jessica Raines. I was obviously beside myself. Like when I got this part, I was just like, the way I announced it to my mum and dad, and I was like, guys, we're gonna be eating good from now on. I was like, guys,
I just got a Soho House membership. We're going to Shoreditch.
The gas.
Great Street.
I was like, I need to be around like-minded people. I need to be around people that just get me.
You and I are the same person.
Looking back on it, I actually cringed. Like, literally, the phone calls I was making to friends and stuff.
Oh, God.
I was like making. Oh, do you need to sort that out?
1 second. And am I back?
No, you're quite blurry.
Oh, sorry. This camera does this sometime. Am I laughing so hard?
You're laughing so hard, broke the camera.
Hang on, I'm gonna fix this. Here we go. One second.
No worries.
Back. There we go.
Back. And he's back in the room.
So that's amazing. And so when you got that it was incredible. And then you shoot it. And your agent must have been pumped because you finally had a TV credit, right?
Yeah, no. She was super, super duper pumped. Like, and she was like, I'm not with her now. I have a different agent now, but we still remain close. Like, she's was and is such an important part of my career because she really, truly, I think when an agent plucks you from drama school, they believe in you more than you believe in yourself at that stage. And they see things in you, they see potential in you, and they market you and they put you out there. And she did just that. So she was so thrilled for me. And yeah, she is a wonderful woman.
That's incredible. And then, obviously once you get that first credit, it's the hardest thing to get. Obviously the theater is huge, but here I've done theater here. It's not the same, so when you got that, is it SAG-AFTRA in the UK? Is that the union that represents you guys or no?
No, we have equity.
Equity is for us is stage only.
Okay. Here we've got equities for it's for stage and for screen.
Wow, interesting. So it got you. So did then the Globe get you into equity then?
No, we will. You kind of can just apply it for equity. Even when you're at drama school, you can apply for equity. And I think that, yeah, I think that's how it works. I can't remember. It was so long ago I applied, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, but when you got on television, obviously casting directors start taking you more seriously because it's like,
Sure.
okay, she's been on $1 million set. She can be trusted. And, you know, especially like someone like Agatha Christie, you know, like she works. So
Yeah.
did you start getting bigger auditions at this point?
Do you know what? Even from, I remember, I can say this now because it's so bloody long ago, but one of my first ever auditions with my agent was only for Star Wars.
The reboot.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For Daisy's
I
character?
Yeah.
No way.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I kind of like that for me was like blew my mind getting an audition like that. So I had kind of been auditioning for some like pretty big things early on. So it was like, and I guess that's thanks to my wonderful agent at the time. She was able to really sort of bang on the door and get me these meetings and make sure I was seen for stuff. So I guess like it was the quality of things that I was auditioning for was always so good, but it's about landing them, which is really, really bloody hard.
Totally. It's insane.
It's really hard. It's really,
were you
really
like,
hard.
I could see you on Game of Thrones. Were you getting those as well? You know,
I was getting things, yeah, for that kind of stuff. But like, you know, I feel like even to this day in my career, you get the same sort of line. We really loved her. We thought she was so great for the part. We just went for more of a name. We went for someone with a bigger profile. It's that classic, isn't it? And like, I get it. The game's the game, but the casting directors, I really bloody admire and love, and I think are fantastic, are the ones that pluck these unknown actors out of thin air, literally, and then place them in these leading roles. And you're like, fucking hell, they're brilliant. Where the hell did they come from? And it's like, oh, you know, we've got a casting director over here who actually cast Top Boy. He's called Des Hamilton. Fantastic.
Did such an amazing job.
Yeah, he's sensational. He's sensational. Like he really, but he does this thing called street casting. So him and his team will literally walk the street, see some kids and be like, yo, do you want to be in Top Boy? Do you want to come for an audition? They'll do things like that. That's how amazing. They found one of the characters in Top Boy. Like that to me is real sort of casting, because you're taking a risk. And like, okay, sure, some people might be like, yeah, but they're not really actors. They might not want to be actors. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There should never be like a hierarchy in life. Just because someone hasn't trained to be an actor, just because someone has trained to be an actor, if you can act, you can act.
Totally. You can do it or you can't. And at the end of the day, that's the reality of it. No matter if you went to, you know, Oxford or if you just grew up in some, you know, state housing, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. And so then, you know, was that, you know, dealing with, you know, obviously Daisy wasn't fully a name, but she had worked, right? When she got that role, you know, or was she big in the UK?
Do you know, we actually, funnily enough, at that time had the same agent.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. But I had no idea she was going, obviously NDA'd up to the max.
Yeah.
I had no idea that, that she was going up for it. But I always remember I had just joined the agency and I saw her name on their
check-in
list. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
On
the agency list. And I just always thought, oh, she's got such a great look. And she had worked, but I don't think she was definitely like established as an actress at that point, but she wasn't doing the big boy production. So for her,
she wasn't Emily Blunt yet, you know?
No. Yeah. But so for her, that was such can you imagine how cool that would have been for her to get that feeling of oh my God, everything that I've ever wanted is just paid off. I think it's wicked, man. And she was so good in it.
It seems like a great person, you know? It's always nice when the person turns out a really good human after the experience, you know?
Good things happen to good people.
Totally. I really believe that. And especially now in this time of reckoning in our business where there's there's not a lot of room for bad behavior anymore,
No, there's not. There actually isn't, because you just get found out. People talk. I just believe that you should be kind to everyone and treat people how you want to be treated, because believe me, if you're rude to that makeup artist, if you're rude to that runner, if you're rude to the caterer, people will find out about it.
Totally. And it's just not, it's just like, for me,
cool.
it also, it takes extra energy to be a dick. Like, to be cool requires nothing,
It's actually so draining and bad for your soul. Like, there's been times where, I've been having a bad day and I've just snapped at someone. It could be anyone. I'm like, oh, I will literally think about that moment for the whole day. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, you're such an awful person.
That's why I can't smoke weed, because I go back.
Nah, exactly. Do that. The paranoia. Literally, it's just not working for me. Like, I'll be going ruminating over it and over it, and I'm like, I have to find them.
I know that guy from the deli 10 years ago. I need to apologize.
You see, I can't be dealing with all of that.
Yeah, that's me and my Uber drivers. But I'm so
hurry up. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you've got your own life and things going on.
Totally. It's New York City traffic. It's not your fault. But I'm curious then, because while the Star Wars was being filmed was right around the time here in America, and I don't know if it translated over there, where the Oscars too white movement happened, and the reality of starting seeing other ethnicities is not just like, it was so kind of binary before, where you were white or you weren't. And you know what I mean? It wasn't like, there just wasn't the development of characters for other ethnicities in the way that there was
100%. Well, it's like literally as I described to you, me being the only.
Yeah, totally.
The only. I feel like at the time when I was at drama school and I was the only female of color / person of color in my year, I noticed it, but I didn't notice it that much because it almost was more normal then. But you see now, because of everything that's happened, the movement that's happened, the industry that's happened, where it's the place it's in now, listen, there's still a way to go, but we're in a far better place. If there were a drama school now where there was one woman of color, it wouldn't wash.
No, I feel like the alumni would be like, this is no go.
Yeah, and it would just be so blindingly obvious that something was wrong here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, for myself growing up and also as an actor, it kind of was, especially, I'm mixed race, right?
Yeah.
So
me too, actually. I know I don't look it, but I'm half Mexican. I really am. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like everyone.
And my dad is like very much of your skin tone. It's
is
like
really
100%. Like people think I'm adopted or yeah.
There you go. You just don't know. I feel like, especially like nowadays, like no one is just, well, people are, but like it's quite rare that people are just one thing. So for me, being mixed race, and my mother's Nigerian, my dad is English, but I would automatically get labeled as a black actress.
Got it. And just to break that down, for like, the Indian actresses, would they be considered black as well?
Well, I guess, an Indian
before the reckoning, like would was it like everything was black, that like Asian even, or no? Or
I feel like, I can't speak for that because I'm not of Asian descent, but like I have Asian friends that like, I remember there was one time, I won't say what it is because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
It's okay.
But I went for this audition to play a well-known character in history, right? Who is of Native American ethnicity, right?
Okay.
So I was.
Well, there's only one character that's coming to mind.
Well, I ended up in it. Right? So that is very specific as to what that ethnicity is, right? I was in the audition room with Chinese girls, Indian girls, black girls, mixed race girls, as in like white, black, mixed race,
Yeah.
white girls, Russian girls, like
Wow.
so many different things. So it was so not specific when actually it is a specific race now.
Yeah.
Like, so, and then the actress that ended up getting that role was a well-known actress, and she was white.
Wow.
So there's things like that. And like back then, I remember like seeing that and I thought, nah, this isn't right. This isn't
Was
right.
there an
But,
anger, about that, or was it just
well,
confusing?
it wasn't anger, but I just thought like this is just stupid. Like
Yeah.
there's this, what kind of stupidity is this? Like it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I guess there was an anger. There was an element of like, well, why waste all our times
Totally.
and
That's
bring us in? But you see nowadays, again, something like that just wouldn't wash.
ever. Are you kidding?
It wouldn't
Both
wash.
the
Oh,
production
yeah.
would be canceled before it even started filming.
Cancelled. It's
Yeah.
done. It's done. I can't remember who it was, but there was an actor not too long ago. He got cast in something. I think he is white. He got cast in something for a role that is actually meant to be Chinese. So then he ended up turning it down and saying,
Yes.
it doesn't sit right with me. I can't remember who it was. It doesn't sit right with me to take this role. I think it should go to an authentically Asian.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and the same thing was for another Marvel movie did happen, but the person did play it,
Right.
And yeah,
right.
And,
Exactly.
I guess, sorry, going back, like when that reckoning started happening here in America, was it equally happening over there in the UK?
Yeah, it was, and I remember there was, and it suddenly like opened up so many conversations and like gave people so many voices in rooms where they felt like they were voiceless, or like, because you felt like it's that horrible feeling of you feel like you don't want to rock the boat, you
Totally.
don't want to speak out of turn, you don't want people to think that you're being difficult or ungrateful or angry or problematic, so therefore you just sort of sit there and take it. But I guess it's that thing of their strength in numbers, right?
Yeah.
As soon as one person, at least even one other person kind of validates your feelings, you're like, oh right, okay, so I'm not the only one, cool, then there's another person that speaks up and another. So yeah, that this movement, this very necessary movement happened over here, and thank God it did.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like it also happened to theater as well?
Yes, it did.
Oh,
it
that's
did.
great.
It happened in theater. It happened in, the voiceover world. It happened in the television world, the film world. Listen, like I said, there's always room for improvement, I feel. Things aren't ever 100% right, but the place we're in now, I feel, is far better than where we were before.
Yeah. Yeah, I would fully agree with that. And when that happened, then did that start changing the auditions that came your way? Were they authentic to who you were and who you felt like you wanted to play? That's awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. They really were. It wasn't like, because I had a conversation with my friend recently, because back in the day, they would ask for like a role where someone was it was quite clearly an Indian role or something. Now, my ethnicity visually can sometimes be quite ambiguous, right?
Yeah,
so
you could.
As is yours, for instance.
Yeah.
Look, you just told me you're half Mexican. I mean, blown away, mind blown.
Yeah.
Like, who'd have thought it, eh?
I know, this white guy.
Are you lying? But so
I'm an actor.
You are. You know, fuck, I had her on since I'm Mexican now.
Love it.
Oh god. No, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, because it's like back then I would have accepted that audition without a second thought, because I would have been like, okay, that's cool, like, that's fine. But now I feel like I have a responsibility now to really weigh that up and think, is this right that I am taking away this sort of like opportunity from a authentically Asian actor or actress, and it probably not. It's probably not right. It's probably not. But then you do have to think to yourself, okay, but acting isn't real, and people play characters. So even
that aren't them, right?
That aren't them, right? But
yeah.
But there has to be a thought process around it that makes it sort of. It has to be okay, and it has to be done for the right reason. So, for instance, let's say, because I was talking a lot about this with my friends. So let's say, for instance, so I'm half Nigerian, half English, but let's say a audition came along for me to play a half Jamaican, half English character. Now, the origins of that are still Black, right? So does that mean I can't play someone of a Caribbean descent because I'm half Nigerian? See, that's a conversation.
I don't think it does myself, but
well, exactly. I don't think it does either. But then that's a conversation that needs to be had with yourself, with your agent, with I would even go as far to consult my fellow actors in the industry that are of similar ethnicities. Like, how would you feel about that? Because you always want to make the right decisions. Right. You never want to regret any decision you make. And as long as there's a conversation about it and a thought process about everything, if you start from there and it starts with good intentions, then,
That's awesome. And I love hearing you say that. And I know you built up a lot of other credits like White Gold and you did some other projects. But then how did Top Boy come to you?
How did Top Boy come to me? So it's a funny one.
You obviously you said you did know about the Summer House, like the 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was a fan of the show, like a massive fan of the show, and I was sat in the car with my friend, and she was like, "Oh, Top Boy's coming back," and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in it. I really want to be in that." And she was like, "Really?" Yo, and I was like, "Yeah, I really, really do." But I kind of I was thinking about it. I was like, "Oh, that would actually be so up my street, so sick. I'd love to be in that." And then lo and behold, I cannot make this up. I still have the messages. I was in the gym. I was in a gym class, and this girl, when you see someone in the same gym class as you, so
I just coming back from the gym, totally.
Literally. So so then we then eventually we kind of like properly got talking, and then I was like, "So how's it all going?" And she was like, "Good. Yeah, I actually just started a new job." And I was like, "No way, that's so cool. What do you do?" She said, "I'm working for this casting director called Des Hamilton. We're casting Top Boy at the moment." I was like, "What?"
Divine intervention.
And I believe in shit. I really, really believe in that shit. I do. So I was like, "Babe, I'm an actress. I'd love to be in it." She's like, "Cool." Gave me her name. She's like, "Hit me up on Facebook." So I sent her a Facebook message. She was like, "No, just spoken to the team. We'd love for you to come in for an audition. I'll send over, everything, all the details to your agent." I went in, I auditioned, I met Des, the casting director.
Forlorn?
Sorry?
Forlorn, like that part?
Yeah.
Wow.
And as soon as he opened the door for me, he literally never shut that door. Like, he was so supportive throughout the whole process, and like, he really gunned for me to get that role. I went in about 3 times for that, met the producers, everything, and he just had my back the entire way. And it was such a defining moment in my career.
Wow. And to get to come back, like, as Drake has got his name on it, it must have been, I mean, you manifested it. You did. I've done that.
Honestly, sometimes people are like, "Oh, that's bloody."
No, I believe that's how actors make things happen.
I swear to God, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah. And I just did Law and Order, and I was like, earlier this year, I was like, I think I could like see myself on Law and Order. First time going in, damn, just filmed it. You know what I mean? I can't. Oh well, whatever. When this comes out, it'll hopefully be.
Yeah, that by the time it's out. I just went out for beep.
But that's incredible. So getting that job, and then you've obviously had a lot of set experience and been on a lot of different stylistic of like material of shows and like, theater as well. What was the set experience like coming back on that season of a show that I guess did exist before, but is bringing a new degree of reality to it, and, establishing yourself with people that are coming back from a different part of it, but
Yeah.
also all these new people that are now joining it along with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone on that set was so welcoming, and we all wanted the same thing, which was to make a really, really good show.
Yeah.
So therefore, in order to do that, you have to have a sense of ensemble. You have to have a sense of family. Everyone has to work together, get on with each other, look out for each other, have each other's backs. And everyone just did that. So it was amazing.
Did you guys hang out together and kind of bond a bit?
Yeah. Like there's everyone's super close. Like we all shared something really special. Especially when being part of a show that has such like a cult following, and then everyone wants it to come back. And then, when it did come back, it was like, everyone
and it was
so
going
happy.
International this time. It wasn't just a British
International.
production.
Yeah, for sure. So we all kind of experienced that together, and everyone has sort of like done different things since then, but everyone has just gone, no one's gone down from it, everyone's gone up, which is such a beautiful thing to see everyone go in these different directions, but they're all soaring in their own individual way. And it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm just so proud of everyone.
As you should be. You're so good in it. And for those, to clarify, you did season 1, but we're here talking about season 2, which came out on March 18th, which you have a bigger part in. Was that something you spoke to the showrunner about, like that Lauren would come play this really big part in season 2 and possibly more,
Yeah. I mean, the writer, Ronan Bennett, he's been incredibly supportive and wonderful to me since I met him, really. So in the season 1, I was only meant to be in like 1 or 2 episodes. But after I think my 3rd and 4th day of filming, he kind of like sidled up to me and was like, he's like, you're doing a really great job. He's Irish.
Yeah.
If you didn't get them, like, oh God, where's he from? Yugoslavia.
Totally. Mexico.
Mexico, exactly. He's Mexican, just like you. So he was like, would you like to, listen, I love what you're doing. Would you want to be in a bit more of it? And I was like, yeah. So then he wrote me into a few more episodes, and then that went down well. And then he called me about season 2 and was like, listen,
you didn't know when you left season 1 whether or not season 2 was going to happen for Lauren?
No, especially not where my character was told to leave.
Yes, there's a big consequence coming.
Yeah. He was like, leave, never come back. So I was like, it's been fun, what a laugh. But then he got a call. He's like, we're bringing her back, and we're bringing her bit better, better, bolder, crazy. I was like, and he told me my storyline, and I was like, there's a mixture of so many things there, because I was like, whoa, okay, the responsibility here is huge, especially with the nature of the storyline. It was something that I was like, I need to do more than just play this. Like, I need to educate myself. So I did. I ended up contacting a charity who they're called Refuge. They're a UK women's domestic abuse charity, and they're just amazing group of women that help women that are going through quite possibly one of the worst things that can ever happen to a woman, I feel. So they were so supportive towards me and guided me, and so I feel like I did it justice.
You were incredible. You're a titan. Did you guys shoot this during the pandemic?
We did, yeah.
Wow. So that must have been crazy as well.
Yeah, it was crazy, because especially during the pandemic, domestic abuse was at like an all-time high.
Highest. Yeah.
The highest. I had all of that in mind, and I was just like, there were times where it's a lot. It's a lot, because me as an actor, I was always so aware I can walk on set, play that part, and then come back home to the comfort of my own home, and because it's not real for me. Whereas for a lot of women, they wish they could do that. They wish that they could just be, they could wake up and be like, oh, it's not real, but it was real. So again, there was that element of things where I was like, the responsibility to make this the most believable thing ever. And not only that, but I was like, I don't want this to be, I was really like quite nervous and conscious. I didn't want this to just be like an entertaining storyline. I was like, if this can help at least one woman, then I've done my job, and since then, since it's been out, I've received like the most incredible
you so deservedly
messages.
Did you know the ending at the beginning? I know we spoke about the ending at the beginning of the pod, but did you, like, at filming, did you know where she was going to end?
Not straight away, but pretty much like maybe, let's say, a month into filming, I was told, and I was like,
got it.
Okay, cool. I was like, thank God. Sort of
because you don't. I mean, obviously we've sort of exposed, but you don't see what's happening coming at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. And that's what's that's a testament to your acting, because like you really believe, in her, habits of choosing the wrong choice, and that's just a testament to your acting, and especially your reaction to the consequence of that scene. It's heartbreaking, and you're incredible, Saffron. I mean, it was just, I know it's only been a few days now since the show's come out, but as it started I'm sure you've gotten messages on Instagram, but have you been getting phone calls from your agent for other things,
I mean, my agent is just like, they're two incredible men who are so supportive towards me, and like, they call me, oh, we're so proud of you, it's amazing, like, so they're like, they've got all these ideas and they're really excited for what the future has to hold. So I'm in safe hands. I trust what they have bringing my way. So,
and I don't know if you can say, but whether or not Lauren does come back, is there more Top Boy in store? Do you know?
I don't
know. Last thing is I know you have Moon Knight coming out,
I do.
And so I'm curious, now that you're doing so well over there, and Moon Knight's going to be such a global project, is America something that you're interested in?
100%. I would love to come and visit you guys, please, if you have me.
Oh, of course. I live in New York anytime. You're incredible. And,
I'll hit you up for sure.
Yeah. Moon Knight will be out later this month, right?
Yes, it's coming out March the 30th, I believe.
But more importantly, everyone should check out Top Boy, which is available on Netflix.
Moon Knight, check it all out. I'm there.
Yeah. Saffron Hocking. Final question for you. For the young Saffron, who was going to school and was kind of confused by how to make it in the business. For all the actors listening, that maybe have not yet gone to drama school or have already graduated and are struggling, any words of wisdom you might have, whether a person of color or white, just about what we said about 99% fail rate, and trying to stay positive and who you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and trudging forward.
Yeah. I would say, if you want it enough and you believe in yourself enough, you can make it happen. Because believe me, we were all born the same, and we all can have brains. So if you really, really, really believe in yourself, and you put yourself in the right places, and you love yourself, and you have self-belief, and you just really nurture your inner being, then anything can happen. I think if you start from a place of love within yourself, then anything can happen. But you have to love yourself first. You really do.
Saffron Hocking, this was such a pleasure. Look me up when you come to New York.
I will, I
Like
promise.
you're incredible. I'm so excited for all that's to come for you,
Thank
and
you.
so much love. Okay.
Thank you. It's been amazing speaking to you. I've
All
had the best
right.
time.
To be continued. Thank
Big
you for the
love.
laughs.
Take
All right.
care.